Yeah, he gets around to everyone, so he does. You've got to give him that. He really does make the effort of reviewing, doesn't he? I can't remember what my point was, but I know we all give Steve Bennett shit, but at least he reviews all of the things. The problem with it is that what? Go on. Go on.
So I've known something for a while.
What?
So a good few years ago now. It must be like
quite a while ago.
6 years, maybe 7 years ago.
I think it was when I was in Blue. So how long ago was that then?
6 years?
7?
24, 15? Something like that.
Don't know. I've really tried to block a lot of Baby Blue out of my mind.
So there was a Twitter account that went viral amongst the comedy community, and it was a Steve Bennett parody account. And there was a lot of very famous people tweeting it, saying it was very funny. Like Ahmed Jalili tweeted it. Jimmy Carr tweeted it, I think, at one point. They're like, this is hilarious. Whoever runs this account needs to make themselves known. And until this moment, the identity of its creator has been anonymous. And it was Carl.
Oh, my God. Is that true?
It's mad because do you like your formative comedians? Like the ones you watched when you're growing up.
Yeah.
Ahmed Jalili was one of mine. I loved Ahmed Jalili.
Oh, he's great.
And he tweeted me and said, whoever runs this account is a genius. I was like, Ahmed Jalili's just called me. I was like, what?
Yeah, so what did you do on the parody account? Because I'm really glad that just before we announced who that parody account was that Steve Bennett will definitely know about, I was like, you know what? Fair fucks to him. He reviews everyone, and that's a really positive thing.
He followed
and
me?
now let's tell... did he follow it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if...
I think he followed it to see what it was saying.
Yeah.
Did he retweet it?
Yeah. Did he retweet it? Did you get a message from Steve Bennett going, whoever this is an absolute genius?
That's more than he's ever said about either of us.
Yeah, that's true. The one time he was nice about me, it was his fucking substitute.
Because I don't know if he still does it now, but there was a thing that he used to always spell people's names wrong.
Yeah.
So I followed...
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
A common criticism of him is that he doesn't spell check his reviews.
Right.
Including the names of the comics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. We're not winning this award if we're saying this.
So I used to reply.
And the winners are Adam Rowe and Dan Nightingale.
He becomes the industry reviewer of a version of that African sports results guy. I didn't know.
But I used to reply to tweets and misspell people's names wrong and say, great tweet, 3 out of 5, but reads like a 4.
Oh, nice.
Just the usual shit.
Jokes, funny in-joke. Comics love that sort of shit.
That's not the only Twitter account you've had where you've been a bit of a cunt with it.
My favourite ever.
The Sky Help Desk.
I wish I could I would do this now. I used to do this when I was a fucking idiot. I was still over 20. I made a Twitter handle called Sky Help UK. And it was very similar to the actual Sky Help.
And did you use the logo?
Oh, if you went on the Twitter, the only thing was different, it didn't have a blue tick.
You're basically, without being a cunt, you're doing the same thing that those texts fishing for details of banks come. NatWest, you've just had a cancellation on your card. Send us your details. And you're like, well, it looks official. And then you go on a website and they've made it look official. Yeah. You were doing the piss take version of that
So what I'd do is I'd search Twitter for people who were tweeting Sky Help, and I'd go for people who weren't maybe tech savvy. I wouldn't go for get onto it, you get onto it. And they'd go, Sky Help, my internet's gone off. This is a fucking joke. I pay £50 a month. And then I'd reply quickly and say, we're not fucking arsed that your internet's gone off. By the looks of your picture, you're an ugly cunt. Shit like that. And he'd go, well, I'm going to fucking Virgin. And I'd be like, oh, well, fair fuck, we're not going to miss you and all that. And
we're Sky.
Yeah. But I'd do ones why's my connection gone awful? I'd be like, where'd you live? And they go, Rotherham. I go, because it's a shithole. I'm on asked about Rotherham internet. You can go and get fucked. And then Twitter shut me down.
Yeah.
I was doing it for about a month, and it was the funniest thing.
Yeah. Big multinationals will probably ask another big multinational to shut that shit down. Yeah. God, Carl, that's really fucking good.
Oh, it was so funny because then you'd see the people he's Because the people he was tweeting it at thought this was someone who worked for Sky. They weren't getting onto it. So they replied me like, I've never been spoken to this way by customer service in my life. This is disgusting. I want to speak to your manager. I am the manager, you stupid old bitch.
That is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was great.
Oh, good on you.
Speaking
Accounts, eh?
Speaking of anonymous Twitter accounts, have you seen the thing that's kicking off with on Twitter with the That's a White Lineup account? Have you seen this?
No.
It's so dull.
Oh, I've got to talk about this though.
Yeah, but it's so. I mean, the subject's funny, but it's such a like.
I'm so 24 hours behind everything. I just because don't enjoy Twitter for that. I'm still getting over baked beans on Weetabix. Go on.
So someone set up.
Which isn't a thing, Chili Bean.
Someone set up a Twitter account. What are you doing? You getting the Texan flag?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't showed it yet, have we?
I got this in honour of our.
You're holding it the wrong way.
No. Is it the Lone Star? That what it's called?
The Lone Star State.
Isn't it that?
That makes more sense, yeah.
We've got 2 patrons from Texas.
Yeah.
Texas Chili Bean and Zoreen.
And did one of them send us
or
it?
Zoreen. No, I just got it. I just saw it.
You paid for it?
Yeah.
That better not be going on the fucking expenses. I'm not paying for your vanity projects.
Already fucking done. Not paying for the vanity project. Fucking rat.
So someone has set up a Twitter account called @That'sAWhiteLineup. And what they're doing is, for example, this week on 8 out of 10 Catsters Countdown, we've got Jimmy Carr hosting, team captains John Richardson and Sean Locke, and the guests are David O'Doherty and someone else who's white. And then they'll quote tweet it with, "That's a white lineup," with the intention of pointing out the underrepresentation of people of colour in the comedy industry. Mm-hmm. And they quote tweeted a poster yesterday for an online gig with an entirely white lineup, without really considering the fact that that all-white online lineup was to raise money for a cancer hospice.
Right.
So they're pointing out...
Listen, BAME people get cancer too.
They do.
Yeah.
Here's my question. So they've obviously got an issue with the fact that this hospice, these evil bastards who run this cancer hospice, right? Mm-hmm. They have booked a comedy lineup, and they've neglected. Like, to be fair to them, to be fair to the hospice, got to give credit where it's due, right? Half of the people booked are women, half of the people booked are men.
Oh, come on.
They've 50-50 there.
What more can you do? Oh, well, more.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So no people of colour though. So obviously, to be fair to this, That's a White Lineup, they are pointing that out. I'm just wondering, like,
love it. I love it when he asks me these questions.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dan? Well, thanks for the loaded gun. Let me point it at my own head, Adam.
I'll tell you what I think if you want. I think it's really funny because this account has had quite a lot of love from the wokey part of the comedy industry. Or like, we need to solve all injustices. Every time 8 out of 10 Catsters Countdown doesn't have a person of colour on, that's a problem. You can always find there's plenty of talented people of colour in our industry, and you should be making sure that they feel represented in every episode. And there's a lot of people who toe that line, and that's what they do. And a big part of their job in comedy is making sure everyone is doing things okay. And what I really love is when someone takes that too far, so even those people go, nah! It's a hospice, mate! It's a fucking charity gig for a hospice. You're on your own!
I love being woke, but I also don't like criticising places where people go to be cared for as they die.
I also want to know how the person who's like criticising them for the comedy lineup, like, are they also like going to look into, you know, the staff at the hospice, make sure all of those people, you know, equal men and women, equal people of colour and white people, and then are they going to go and check the beds of the patients and be like, there's just too many white people dying in this hospice.
Sorry, Margaret, you're too white for this hospice. Get in the car park. Yeah, fade away outside as we
at what point are they going to start campaigning for more people of colour to be getting cancer and stuff?
No, they're just going to tweet about it and do the classic Twitter like, aren't they? That's the...
Yeah. And what's really funny is another comic called Darius Davis has found out who is behind the account and has started tweeting them saying, this is you. And she's going, it isn't. I'm behind the other one. And then he replied and said, well, unless you've got the same IP address or you just sit next to this person at the same internet cafe, they both definitely you, because I done some digging.
Good on you, Darius Davis. Yeah, just... There's nothing wrong with pointing out the representation stuff. There's absolutely fine. But it also paints the industry out to be just so like overtly racist. Like we sit...
And the racism is very quiet in comedy. We keep it to the green room and WhatsApp groups.
And our YouTube show. But it really, like, that's a white lineup. And it almost, like, I get it when you've got your angle on things and you're like, we need more representation. But as an industry, that is something that has been worked on and we are working on. Like, it's not like... It almost paints us like a whole industry going, no, it's not a problem. I just get white lads on all the time. Like, there are these discussions in the forums, in dressing rooms, on bills. And of course, if you look at the industry and there is a majority of white people in the industry on stage promoting, but like the hard fact is, there's no angle on this politically, there is a majority of white people in this country. It's just a fucking numbers game. And to just be like, that's a white lineup, you're like, it almost suggests, without any articulation, it suggests that we're all going, yeah, we're absolutely fine with that, and we couldn't give a fuck. And you're like, we do. People do care. We're aware of it. We all work at it. It's just not as easy as sitting on a Twitter account and going, well, I'm a good person, and you're obviously not. Send. It's just like so shitty.
And I also think, like, I see a lot of sort of white knights, and by that I mean white-skinned knights, who are like, I agree with this and we need to really solve this, but then they're the people getting the opportunities as well. Do you know what I mean? You know, when you see like a TV lineup, like Mock the Week or something, and someone goes, oh, well, they're all white men. And then there's people who've done this series of Mock the Week going, yeah, it's really bad actually. And you're like, well, turn it down.
Yeah.
Say no and suggest someone.
Also, just go through the lineups on Mock the Week. Fucking hell, it's not just all white men, is it? Like more than anything, if you're
white men from the same school,
if you're funded by fee payers like the BBC, they work so much on diversity, like sometimes to the point where it's criticised because you're like, God, you're ticking boxes. But yeah, it's very difficult. More interestingly, who at the hospice is booking the lineup?
I think it's the patients.
Right.
I think they all picked their favourite comedian.
Do you not think one of the nurses is like, honestly, we're losing. Room 4 is going, hang on. Just trying to book more white comedians. He's not breathing. I'm trying to get a comedy night going, for fuck's sake. How do you spell Spiky Mike? That'd be amazing if everyone...
I think there's no E. I think it's SPIKY. I think.
If everyone who did a charity night had to source the comedians themselves, like, got any recommendations? Guys, breathe in, breathe out. Let's try and do it. Go on. Any recommendations? Little Timmy. I like Steve Shanyaski. Oh, God, we'll phone him. Do you know the number?
Well, that's very good, Timmy, but we've actually already got 4 white people on, so you can't have your favourite one. Enjoy heaven.
I'm struggling to breathe. Timmy, are you a racist? I'm dying. You're a dying racist.
Yeah, what did they do if, like, there's a kid with, like, 3 days left to live and he just really wants to see Russell Kane, but the rest of the lineup's already white men? Do you go, no, you cannot have him. We have got to get Dane Baptiste on. Stop being selfish, Timmy. Wipe that blood up.
What's wrong with Dane Baptiste?
Nothing. I like Dane. I just particularly like Russell.
He'll be gone soon. Better for it, Tim.
The amount of dead children, hypothetical dead children on this
I know,
podcast.
we made that a kids' hospice. We made that a kids' hospice.
For no reason.
For no reason.
And the only reason we had to was because you called him Timmy and no adults called Timmy.
I know.
Only...
Mallet.
No, but there's not many, like, normal kids called Timmy either, is there?
No, they're always dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're always
my
lit.
best
Go-to dying kids. That's why there's no adults called Timmy. They all die as children.
Oh, what a bunch of silly fucks we are. it's a difficult conversation to get out of comedically, but I think we really did quite well there to be like, yeah, representation, tricky. But more importantly, who books hospice gigs?